Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel Shilpa Data Insights. Everyone is talking about AI, ChatGPT, Claude, automation, robots, Tesla, everything, right? But if someone is asking you what is an AI, are you able to answer properly what exactly is an AI? Have you really understood what exactly is AI? In today's video, I will be covering everything about AI, starting from what exactly is AI. I will not give you any jargons or any complicated definition. Instead, I will help you understand on the basis of the real world example that we have. Everyone is using it, but they don't know what exactly it is. So let's get started with today's video about what is AI. We will be covering the fundamentals of AI, and then we will proceed about the real world use case of generative AI as well. So let's get started. Before understanding each concept of AI, we will cover the terminologies of AI. So for example, you might have heard about AI, which is artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, LLM, generative AI. So we are going to discuss in this particular video all these concepts that we have. This is called actually an AI family tree. Now, AI is a broader range. Anything that is related to machine and machine is capable of doing with some intelligence, that is actually an AI. Inside AI, then we come with a machine learning. Machine learning means the machine is learning something with the help of the data that we are providing. That is actually a machine learning. We will discuss everything in depth. I'm just giving you a layman term what exactly it means. Then is the deep learning. Deep learning, as the name suggests, again the machine is learning, but with the help of some data and some more intelligence. It's more smarter, it's able to analyze more things. So that is deep learning. Then comes is the LLM. What is LLM? LLM is a large language model. So it means that a complete data set which is huge is actually fed to the machine, and it's learning from that particular data set. So that is called the large language model, and we are creating models out of it. We will know the definition what exactly is the model as well. Then is the generative AI, which is actually very common now. Generative AI means using that you can create your images, you can create your music, you can create a video, you can create a text. And for using generative AI, we have LLM. That LLM is actually a model, right? For example, ChatGPT is a model, Claude is a model, then you have the DeepSeek is a model. These are the models that are getting used in order to generate things. So this is an overview of what exactly is an AI family tree look like. So we have to learn a lot of things, but it's very simple. If you know the foundation of it, you will be able to understand what exactly is AI. Even if you are not from a tech background and you are actually listening to this particular video, you will be able to capture what exactly these terms refer to, because I've made it such a simple way. So let's get to the next point that we have, that is artificial intelligence. So what is artificial intelligence? Break down the term itself, the word itself. One is artificial, second is intelligence, right? So artificial means whatever we are making it in an artificial way, which is not natural way, right? So for example, we created a computer, which is an artificial. We created maybe a light, which is an artificial light, right? So anything which are created by humans, that is an artificial thing. So the machines that we have created, in those machines, we are giving some intelligence power to it so that it can act accordingly, it can act by its own. So artificial intelligence is nothing but machine has some superpower that it can perform some activities, and it actually works and try to work as smart as humans, because humans are the only one, right, who have intelligence. Now, to use that intelligence, humans have created the machines, and that is an artificial intelligence. Now, if you talk about how exactly this artificial intelligence work, in that case, we are giving some rules, some guidelines to the machine, to the computer, stating that this what should be the output if I'm giving this particular input, right? Or you need to take this particular action if this happens. So those rules and instructions are given by humans, and accordingly the machine acts and gives us the result. So the only limitation here it is that machine don't learn by its own. You have to keep on feeding the rules, regulations, instructions to the machine in order to achieve a result. For example, a very simple use case is you have Google Maps, right? You are actually going from destination A to destination B and you are actually driving. So in that case, there is a traffic congestion. So in order to avoid a traffic congestion, what will you do? You will take a different route in order to reach your destination, right? So for that, you are having a plan A, a plan B. So the same thing you are giving to the machine. If in case this plan A does not work, go to the plan B, right? So you have already defined it and it's going to the plan B if in case the route is having a traffic. Similar use case, let's take one more example, is the chess player. So for example, in the chess, right, you are playing a chess with the help of a computer. It has its own intelligence. You have given some set of rules that if in case this is the rule, then you take this step, right? Accordingly, the whole game starts and ends, right? And you can keep adding those rules so that it can act as intelligence as human, and it can either win or lose from you, right? The third is the voice assistant. For example, Alexa is there, right? You are telling to Alexa that, yes, please play me this song, what is the weather, and so it's not only artificial intelligence, but it has some rules that it is given to it, and it's going to give you that voice assistant, right? So these are some examples of artificial intelligence. Let's deep dive into how exactly it works. We know that we have given some rule, right? But that rule need to be given to a set of data. So you are giving some data to your computer. For example, you have your maps of complete, let's say, Delhi NCR, okay? So in that map, that is your data. Then you are pre-programming the computer with some instructions. So those are called rules. Then you are actually giving some output. That output is given by whom? The machine itself, depending on the actions or decisions that it has taken, right? Now, it actually looks very impressive, right? But it's actually fundamental that you, whatever rules are given by humans, depending on that, it actually learn from it and it gives you the output. It's not learning, it's just giving you the output. So the machine does not learn at this stage. They don't have any experience or improve over time. So for that, a next level has come up, right? So that next level that has improved, because this AI has improved over years and years and years. Now it has becoming famous, right? Because you can do a lot of things with AI right now. Now, the next thing that we have is the machine learning. So in this machine learning, it's actually very powerful. Why? So instead of you just write the rules, based on those rules, basically the machine is giving you the output. You are giving some capability to the machine so that it can learn from the examples and the data that you have provided. You no need to manually program every rule, because for example, in a chess player, there could be multiple rules that you can provide. That's a small example. There could be a bigger example as well, right? So how much rules will you define? It becomes difficult or stagnant at certain point of time. So instead of defining every rule, the system will automatically improve based on more data. So how it can do, for example, it can recognize a pattern. We will discuss how exactly it's doing it. Now, for actually recognizing a pattern, for example, there is a elephant, there is a giraffe, right? You know, elephant is how much what color it is, right? And how much volume it has, how much length and width it has, right? What is the length and width of giraffe, right? All these things you know. based on the patterns that you have remembered in your childhood days, right? So accordingly, those AI things you can recognize whether it's a giraffe, whether it's a elephant, or whether it's a human, right? So that's a pattern recognition thing. So this breakthrough is there, which has made modern AI possible. Rather than just telling the computer exactly what to do in every scenario, we show it an example and let it figure out based on the pattern that we have already given to it, right? So for this machine learning, we are giving it an action. So the first step in the machine learning, what it does is, if you are a data scientist, or if you want to be a data scientist, this is a very important thing, right? If you talk to any data scientist, they will tell you this particular thing. It's a very simple thing, but a very important. So how exactly machine learning works? So first is the training phase. So training phases, you are giving huge amount of data to the system, right? And you actually label that particular data. And based on that training data, it actually recognizes the pattern and classify it. Let's take a very simple example. So you receive thousands of emails per day, for example. Some emails are productive, some emails are spam, right? So you need to classify from your inbox what is the spam emails and what is the productive emails. So you are giving for 1 day of data, let's say, to your training data set, and emails are then classified, or you are labeling it as spam or legitimate. Based on that, machine learns to identify the patterns. Let's say it has some words, some senders email, the email structure. Based on that, it actually then classifies the new emails that are coming up and sort it as a spam and non-spam emails based on the patterns that it has learned. In AI, it was simple. You are just giving the rule. For example, you have a rule that this is a spam, this is not spam. It's just that for that particular sender only you are defining. So it can only do it. But for ML, it learns from the data, it finds the patterns and improves it. So this is the beauty of ML. As more spam emails are identified, the spam system gets better at catching what emails are spam without any code change that you have to do, right? So this is actually a very strong point that happened in the AI evolution. Then, as I stated, AI, let's focus on this. AI works on predefined rules and instruction, follows explicit programming, there is no self-improvement, and human-defined logic is there. In machine learning, it learns and improves from data, identifies the pattern automatically, gets better with experience, and it's a data-driven decision. So key point here is machine learning is a subset of AI, and AI ML is AI, but not all AI is actually an ML, right? So you have a bigger circle that I showed you, which is an AI, and inside that AI, you have a smaller structure, which is ML, right? So that is a subset of AI. Now, ML can be of different types. It can be a supervised learning, it could be unsupervised learning, it could be reinforcement learning. So we will discuss about what is a supervised learning, unsupervised, and reinforcement. Don't go out with the words. These are heavy term words, right? But we will actually understand what is. If you are in the tech background, you might know these words already, or you have heard it, but you don't know exactly what it means. And if you're not from the tech, maybe you have also heard, but you don't know exactly what it means, right? So let's actually deep dive into what is supervised, what is unsupervised, and what is reinforcement. So supervised learning is nothing but you have given your data set. That's a machine learning, right? Because it's a part of your machine learning. You are giving a data set and you provide the machine with the correct answer. The system studies a pattern based on that correct answer and it gives you the output. So what you are giving to the system is the input and the output, right? And let the machine learn based on the input and the output. For example, very simple example we will take. we know what is a cat, what is a dog, but how will you explain that to a system? So to understand the computer, a computer will understand exactly what is a cat and what is a dog. So you are giving a cat, saying that, okay, you are labeling this is a cat. Now then you are labeling that this is a dog, right? Now you are not giving it one data, you are giving millions of data to it actually to understand this is a cat, this is a dog, right? And then based on that, it's actually classifying it. So the same example we actually learned was the email spam detection, right? You have given this is an email which is a spam, this is an email which is not a spam. Based on the data set, it actually classifies which is a spam and which is not, right? And again, a similar use cases, medical diagnosis from the scans, right? Whatever scans you have, it can diagnose if there is a problem, there is a cancer or whatever disease it has, so it can actually diagnose it in a very efficient way. Now think of it like studying for a test with a practice exam that includes the answer key. You remember maybe in your college days or your school days, you have practice. Like for example, in your 10th board, right? You have your practice test and you have your answer key, you have matched it. And if you practice more and more problems, you know, and you recognize that pattern and you are able to answer it, right? So that is called the practice recognition. So like a teacher teaching with the answer in a book. So let's see what is the next type of learning of machine learning is the unsupervised learning. So in unsupervised learning, you are giving the machine the data, but you are not giving any labels or answers to it. So what machine does it? It tries to find its own pattern. It tries to check the structure, its relationship on its own, and tries to find the pattern by its own, right? And then it gives you the output. So for example, you have given the clothes without some labels, right? And you are trying to sort those cloths. So you will be actually sorting the cloths based on some pattern. For example, you have given some pants and some shirts, right? So it will categorize shirts in one place and categorize the pants in other place, right? So that is what is the unsupervised learning. So for example, in the diagram that I've shown, there are blue circles, red circles, and green circles. With the help of unsupervised learning, it automatically categorizes blue in one place, red in one place, and green in one place. We have not given any kind of answer to it, but it actually gives you the answer based on the learning that it does. Now, how exactly it is important is, for example, you want to do a customer segmentation for marketing, right? So a particular type of customer in a particular segment is actually marked in one place. For example, for in India, there are different states. For Delhi, NCR, it is one place. Then Bangalore, then you have Chennai, then you have Hyderabad. All these places, customers are bifurcated based on the demographic location. Similarly, you are grouping similar news article. If there's any transaction of fraud detection, it actually detects it. There's anomaly detection. And if in case you have a large document collection, you are trying to organize it. That is done by supervised learning. Now, the next thing that we have here is reinforcement learning. What is reinforcement learning? Here, actually, the machine learns by experiencing trial and error. So just like we do, sometimes we do some trial and error and we figure out, okay, this is what is actually we need in the answer. So for example, in the trial and error, you are playing a game of chess. And if it wins, then you are giving a reward to it. If it loses, you are actually taking a penalty of it. Through the repeated playing, it actually discovers what is the winning strategy. And the next time it will try to use the same winning strategy because it has learned that this is my winning move, right? So that is how the reinforcement learning works. So it's simple to the same as, let's say, you think of how a child learns to ride a cycle or a bike. They try to ride a bike or cycle, they fall down, get up, and gradually again try it again and again and improve the balance and coordination with each attempt, right? So it knows how exactly what strategy to actually use in order to balance the bike and this or the cycle to actually write, right? So that is exactly the same that reinforcement learning actually does. Now, the next is the deep learning. So what is a deep learning? So it's actually very, very interesting because it's a one step ahead of the machine learning. So machine, actually you are giving the data and it's learning, but in deep learning it actually inspired by how the human brain works. Human brain has numerous neurons, right? And it's interconnected, it remembers the things and it tries to actually perform some action, right? So in deep learning, it has multiple layers as the human brain does, like it has neurons in the brain, right? And they are interconnected. So in the first layer, for example, you have to recognize whether it's a cat. So in the first layer, it identifies the basic edges and the lines in the image. Then it tries to, in the next layer, combine those edges to recognize a pattern, a shape, a geometric shape itself. Then in the last layer, it assembles the shape into a complete object and identify what they are. So it actually first takes the edge, draw the line, checks what is the shape, then it actually identifies the object in the last layer itself. It's like recognizing a face by gradually noticing the individual features, like you have eyes, right? A cat has an eye, it has a nose, it has a mustache, right? And the mouth and their ears, right? Four legs, all these things will are individual features which actually combined together will understand this is a cat actually. Okay, so this is what is a deep learning. So it's a one more advanced level of machine learning because you are just giving a data, but it actually has multiple layers to identify things and actually works like a similar like a human brain. Now, what is a large language model? Large language model is actually a very advanced form of AI, because large language model, in that you remember that you are using ChatGPT, that is an LLM. You are using Claude, you are using DeepSeek, right? You are using Gemini. These are all LLMs. So you are actually training the models on billions of text examples from books, websites, documents. Like it has billions of data that you're feeding to these models and it's actually learns from it. So LLM don't actually know things like we do right now, humans do, but they are actually sophisticated at predicting the next word in the sequence based on the pattern they have learned from massive data set. For example, I am giving a prompt in natural language, okay, that is, I am going to drink, okay, and I don't write anything. But LLM is smart enough to understand what is the next word that she is going to type. So it actually scans the data and see what is the probability for each word that it can happen. So I can either drink water, tea, coffee, juice, right? But what is the most highest probability that I have it in the data set, or the most highest probability that person can write on that particular context, right? So it actually calculates that probability. For example, the water has come the highest probability. So it will try to understand and it will try to fill up that word that it is going to, I'm going to drink water. So for example, if you are a coder, a developer, and if you are using some AI, right? For example, REPL IT, or you are using Databricks, and you start typing, select star from, and it actually selects star. It knows what exactly is the next word. It will type the next word that is from, right? That is the LLM. So LLM are based on the text, right? So they are very smart. They will try to recognize what is your next word. It predicts your actually your next word, right? So that is actually an LLM, and how exactly works in a very simple layman term I have explained to you, right? There's a lot of details. I'm not going into depth of it, but this is what exactly is LLM. Now, the next is generative AI. These two terminologies are very interchangeable nowadays. People will talk about LLM, they will talk about generative AI, but there's a difference between both of them, right? So generative AI is nothing but you have given the data. It's able to understand the data. It's able to give you the answer and it has a capability to create entirely a new content. Okay, so unlike earlier, AI used to just analyze existing data. Now it can create the data. It's not only the text data. LLMs can create text data. Now in with generative AI, it can actually create text data along with other data. For example, it can create your image. It can create completely realistic photos, paintings, illustration. You can use any model for that. You can use your ChatGPT, you can use Claude on it, you can use actually Gemini, right? So all these are image creation. Then you can also create videos. You might be scrolling Instagram nowadays, or maybe any social media, and you will be able to see that videos are created using AI. How exactly it's done? It's actually done using generative AI. Now, for musician, it's very interesting, because nowadays it can also be created using AI. You will hear a lot of original melodies, songs, soundtracks, and even like a lot of various styles, right? And you will love it, because I've heard a lot of music that has been done by AI, and it's amazing. So similarly is the image creation. You might not have been thought of that these kind of images exist. If you want to, for example, convert a image into a drawing, that can be done, right? Anything, and including the text generation. What I am trying to focus here is there is a lot of scope in generative AI that you can do, experiment, and you can work. Now you know exactly what is an AI and what is a deep learning, what is ML, how exactly it evolved, and generative AI. Let's come with the next thing that we have. It is models. You have heard this term model a lot in this particular video. But what is a model? So model is like, we know ChatGPT is a model, Claude is a model, Gemini is a model. Okay. So model is nothing like, it's like a brain. You give it an input and it provides an output based on what it learned. For example, you are asking a question, it has a millions of data set, it's actually analyzing it. Based on that, it's giving you an answer. So it's very simple. You are asking, giving a prompt, that's called a prompt. Like if you give a question to a model, that's a prompt. Okay, so you are giving a question and you are getting an answer back. Now an agent is like a brain plus your hands and the tools. It just don't think, it takes an action in the world. So for example, you want to book a ticket. Okay, so for booking a ticket, what you need to do, you need to actually go to the website. You need to search from destination to destination, date, time. You want to check what all flights are there, and then you want to search it with maybe the earliest day of the time. Then you want to search it, filter it with the lowest price, right? And you want to check what is the baggage that it allows. All these filters you have to apply, and you have to go to a specific website. So to do that, and then you have to book the ticket. For booking a ticket, then it goes to the transaction page, and then it gives you an order. So for doing all this, what it does, it searches the internet, find the correct information. Based on the training, it actually connects to that particular website, that is maybe a Book My Show in India, and then sorry, it's Make My Trip in India, and then you are performing some task, right? And you have given some instructions saying that I want this, I want that, I want the destination to be this, I want to be in the lowest price with the daytime flight and all. Based on the inputs that you are giving, it remembers the context and it gives you the output of it. Then you can tell, okay, agent, I also want to book the ticket. It's going to book the ticket. So there's a millions of steps that's involved in this particular thing. That step that you will be performing can be done by an AI right now. Okay, so that is called an agent. Now then the next thing is the agentic AI. Multiple agents come together to perform an action. That is an agentic AI, right? So you understand what is a model. It's a small thing. You just ask and it gives you an answer. Then you have an agent where exactly a lot of things that is there involved, including your brain. You have some tools that can actually access the outer world, get some other tools, perform the task, and remember the context as well, so that the next time it can remember what exactly you did last time, and it can give you the answer. So it also has a memory. Now this is what is an agent. I hope you understood from starting that we covered the AI, ML, deep learning, and then we have the models, then we also have the generative AI and the LLMs, right? So it's a broader range. We have just divided into small, and it's very important to know what is the basics of it, so that if anyone asks you what is an AI, now if you have listened to this particular video, you will definitely be able to answer this question and even explain it to a 5-year-old kid, right? So because they are actually learning AI also, right? So you can explain this in a very simple term. I hope you have understood. Do hit the like button, share it with as many friends as you can, subscribe to my channel as well, and I will come up with some next video. If you really like this video, please put it in the comments so that I can create more videos like this related to AI as well, apart from data engineering. In the next video, I will be coming up with a data engineering aspect of AI as well. So stay tuned for it. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for watching, and I wish you have a good day.